Like I said, we'll always be cool. You my girl.
But they were like, oh, we're not getting the numbers from your character. People do not watch this show for your character. So we're gonna go in a different direction.
Hey, Brianna. Ready to go see Thanksgiving Day Massacre?
Hey, you still spending the night at my house, right? Oh, I can't. I didn't know.
Everyone remembers Spirit Jones, the witty, loyal best friend from One-on-One. But what happened to Spirit?
Hey, Brianna. Ready to go see Thanksgiving Day Massacre?
Hey, you still spending the night at my house, right? Oh, I can't. I didn't.
Don't gasp when you see her today. Her story is one of heartbreak, rumors, and survival.
Which I think was hard, but not hard in a sense, because how could you not be saddened that people did not like your work?
From being judged for being gay, to on-set fat shaming and firing whispers, to her depression experience, to secret struggles and Hollywood exit, Sicily Sewell's fall from fame shocked fans.
I also know that like after I had children, it was like, okay, so you're either gonna have to lose weight or gain weight. And I was like, the idea of whether or not I should lose weight or gain weight is wild. Like if I'm gonna lose weight, let me lose weight for whatever that reason.
Once America's sweetheart, she vanished without warning, and her real-life story is far more dramatic than any TV script.
Some people will want to know, why did you end up leaving that show?
I got fired.
Sicily Sewell was born on October 1st, 1985, in Pontiac, Michigan. She was raised in a working-class family, the kind of background that didn't easily connect to Hollywood dreams. When her parents divorced, Sicily's mother, Bernadine Sewell, moved the family to California with Sicily and her brothers. It was a big change, a new city, a new school, and a new beginning.
I was born in Pontiac, Michigan.
Okay.
And then I moved to California.
Yeah. Why the move to California?
My parents had gotten divorced.
Her mother recognized early on that Sicily had something special. She wasn't just another kid with a big personality. She was bright, expressive, and loved performing. By the time she was 8 years old, Sicily had already appeared on Sesame Street. Not long after, she played young Aisha in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, marking her first real taste of television.
Years apart, he started doing stuff, and Mom was like, you should try it. And I was like, I don't think I'm gonna like it. I don't think I'm gonna be very good at it, but fine. And so I went on like my first audition, and it was for Sesame Street. And
While most kids were focused on homework and cartoons, Sicily was learning how to balance school with auditions, studio time, and set life. It wasn't easy. Growing up on camera brings pressures most adults couldn't handle. She had to mature fast. Her life was already very public, and expectations were high. Hollywood in the late 90s and early 2000s wasn't built for young black actresses. There were only a handful of visible faces, such as Kyla Pratt, Raven Simonet, Megan Good, and each carried the hopes of a generation.
Yeah. So, y'all wanna be my groupies?
No.
For Sicily, stepping into that world meant representing more than just herself. She was expected to be perfect, to look a certain way, and to smile even when the pressure felt unbearable. But through all of it, she kept her poise, proving that talent and grace could coexist. As she moved through her teenage years, the small TV appearances started to pay off. Her acting talent caught attention in Hollywood. She took on more roles, but her big break came in 2001 when she was cast as Spirit Jones in One-on-One.
Now.
The show, created by Unetta Boone, starred Flex Alexander and Kyla Pratt, and quickly became one of UPN's most loved sitcoms. It followed a single father raising his teenage daughter, with Spirit as the witty best friend, who always had something wise or hilarious to say. Fans instantly connected with Spirit. She was stylish, outspoken, and confident, the kind of friend everyone wished they had in high school. Off-screen, Sicily was just 16, juggling fame and adolescence. For a young black actress in the early 2000s, this was a major win.
So interesting when people say that, because I'm like her name is Spirit Jones. She's a real curly-haired, very interesting person, but I think that not about the person, but the thing that Spirit, like much like her name, but she represented a lot of freedom.
But behind that success were the same struggles child stars often face: pressure to perform, trying to live up to a public image, and not always having control over your future. At that time, Hollywood didn't offer many scripts written with depth for young black women. Yet Sicily managed to make Spirit more than a sidekick. Her performance gave the character life, depth, and relatability. For 4 seasons, Spirit Jones helped define one-on-one. But just as the show neared a major milestone in syndication, everything suddenly changed. No one could have predicted that Sicily Sewell's rising career would soon face one of its hardest turns. By the early 2000s, One-on-One had found its groove. Every episode was full of relatable storylines about growing up, friendship, and family life. Spirit Jones, played by Sicily, was one of the standout characters. Smart, funny, sometimes sarcastic, and always there for Brianna.
We haven't seen you this nervous since we took you to see that movie with subtitles.
Fans saw Spirit as the moral compass of the show. Whenever Brianna needed advice, Spirit had it. Whenever there was trouble, Spirit had the courage to speak up. She represented the grounded, balanced part of teenage life that wasn't always shown on TV. Sicily's chemistry with Kyla Pratt and the rest of the cast was natural. Together, they created a sense of family that made the show easy to love. For black audiences, especially young girls, Spirit became a role model showing that you could be quirky, smart, and proud of who you were.
Just a little bit. All right, ball players.
The character also marked a cultural moment. Spirit Jones became the internet's friend before social media even existed. Message boards and fan sites dedicated to One-on-One praised her for being the kind of best friend who spoke truth but still cared deeply. In school halls and living rooms, young girls quoted her lines, mimicked her style, and saw themselves reflected in her confidence. Sicily's portrayal gave girls permission to be intelligent, outspoken, and authentically themselves, something rarely celebrated on TV at the time. But what fans didn't see was how hard it was behind the scenes. Sicily was entering adulthood and still trying to find herself while keeping up with the pressure of Hollywood. Fame looks easy from the outside, but it came with long working hours, contracts, and constant attention. As the show went on, One-on-One became one of UPN's biggest hits. Ratings were strong, and it was only a few episodes away from reaching syndication, a point where actors start to earn long-term royalties. Spirit's popularity was at its peak. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, news broke that Sicily had been released from the show before Season 5. The official reason, according to reports, was that the network wanted to move in a different direction. That phrase, a different direction, was repeated in every article. No explanation beyond that.
We were like, yes, we're going in a different direction. But they were like, oh, we're not getting the numbers from your character. People do not watch this show for your character. So we're going to go in a different direction.
For Sicily, it must have felt like the ground had been pulled from under her feet. Years of hard work, a loyal fan base, and a show that was almost at syndication, gone overnight. Fans were stunned. Spirit wasn't even mentioned in the new season. She simply disappeared. The writers didn't give her character a send-off, and no one on screen addressed where she went.
But they were like, oh, we're not getting the numbers from your character. People do not watch this show for your character.
On online forums, fans vented their frustration. Some said the show lost its heart. Others said it just wasn't the same without Spirit.
They were like, yes, we're going in a different direction. But they were like, oh, we're not getting the numbers from your character. People do not watch this show for your character. So we're going to go in a different direction.
It was clear that removing such a key character had hurt the show's chemistry. While the network pushed ahead with its retooled 5th season, the ratings started to drop. Critics and viewers agreed. One-on-One had lost the magic that made it special. Behind closed doors, the decision to remove Sicily may have been business, but for the audience, it was personal. Spirit was gone, and One-on-One would never recover from it. When Season 5 premiered, fans immediately noticed the absence of Spirit Jones. Instead of the familiar dynamic between Brianna and Spirit, there were new characters, new settings, and even a new tone. The lighthearted, family-centered vibe was replaced by something different. It was later revealed that Sicily Sewell was let go just 9 episodes before the show hit syndication. That meant missing out on one of the biggest financial opportunities in an actor's career. The timing sparked questions. Why remove a main character so close to such an important point? In interviews years later, Sicily admitted that being fired had been a shock. She said she was never told directly why it happened, only that the network wanted to take the show another way. She added that she had no bad blood with anyone, but it was still confusing. However, she would get the details later.
Some people will want to know, why did you end up leaving that show?
I got fired.
Online discussions added more layers to the story. Some fans believed her removal had to do with the network's attempt to attract a different audience. Others suggested the changes were tied to the upcoming merger between UPN and the WB, which eventually formed the CW.
They needed to create something where this is also the time when UPN was no longer UPN and it was merging with the CW. So it's like, how do we marry these audiences?
Sicily also revealed something that gave more context. During that time, she was growing and changing, both personally and professionally. The industry often didn't know what to do with young women transitioning out of teenage roles, especially Black actresses. She said she began to feel like she didn't fit the image they wanted. When the new season started, the feedback was instant. Fans online said the show wasn't the same, and that the friendship between Brianna and Spirit had been the emotional center of the story. Without that connection, the series felt hollow.
People were actually growing up with people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they actually wanted to see where they were going to college and people were invested in these people's journeys.
Ratings reflected the sentiment. Within months, One-on-One began to slide. By May 2006, the show was officially canceled after 5 seasons and 113 episodes. For Sicily, the cancellation wasn't just the end of a job. It was a wake-up call. Hollywood, she realized, could change your life in one moment and take it back in the next. The experience left her questioning her future in acting. Later, she would admit that the fallout sent her into a quiet depression. After years of living on set and being recognized everywhere she went, suddenly, everything stopped. The cameras were gone. The scripts stopped coming. She said she struggled to rediscover her identity outside of fame, to understand who Sicily was without Spirit. But those dark moments became the foundation for her next chapter. Years later, when she spoke about it again, she didn't sound bitter. She said she learned from it, that being let go made her look at her life differently. Maybe it was supposed to happen, she said. It was that mindset that would guide her through the next chapter of her life, one that took her far away from the bright lights of Hollywood and into something more personal and grounded. After leaving One-on-One, Sicily Sewell decided to step back from acting. While some expected her to keep chasing Hollywood roles, she went in the opposite direction. She enrolled at the Hollywood campus of Le Cordon Bleu College of Culinary Arts, a decision that surprised everyone who knew her as the actress from TV. But for Sicily, it made sense. She had always loved food, and she wanted to build something stable and creative on her own terms.
Yeah, I woke up and I was like, I'm gonna go to culinary school. And literally like 2 days later, enrolled in culinary school.
In interviews, she said she didn't feel she was ever truly great at acting. That admission was honest and humble. She wanted a life that wasn't centered around fame, but around purpose. After graduating, she partnered with her mother to open a restaurant called Pinky and Red's in Berkeley, California. The name came from family nicknames, and the restaurant quickly became a local favorite for soul food lovers. Together, they created a space that felt like home, full of warmth, music, and comfort food that brought people together.
Moved to the Bay Area and I opened a restaurant with my mother called Pinky and Red's. We were on Berkeley's campus.
It wasn't an easy business. Running a restaurant meant long hours, financial risks, and the kind of stress most Hollywood actors never face. But Sicily handled it all. Her experience in the entertainment industry had given her discipline and work ethic, and she applied that to her new life. She once said, cooking reminded her of acting both required patience, timing, and passion. But the kitchen gave her something Hollywood never could, and that was peace. There were no scripts, no directors, no casting calls. Just ingredients, creativity, and love. For Sicily, food wasn't just about flavor. It was about healing. It was her way of reconnecting with people, of turning pain into art. And in those moments over the stove, she felt whole again. She also became more open about her personal journey. In 2022, she publicly came out as gay, revealing that she had always known her truth but kept it private for many years. She said she had hidden it during her time on One-on-One because she feared judgment. The announcement was met with overwhelming support. Sicily also shared that she had married her partner, Melanie Wilkerson, that same year. She has 2 daughters from her previous marriage to drummer Chris Johnson.
But we also have to understand that with married to a woman raising 2 children, am not running the same race as the white man who's standing on the soapbox that's married to his husband.
These experiences showed how she had evolved. She was no longer trying to live up to Hollywood's image. She was simply being herself.
And I was like, truth is, I'm tired. Options are few. And I'm just going to sit here and start teaching people how to cook.
Her focus shifted to family, community, and living authentically. She didn't chase the spotlight anymore. Instead, she found joy in small things, such as cooking, family gatherings, and creating meaningful experiences for others.
But I was also in a place where I was like, I really love cooking, y'all. You know, it was the collateral beauty of it all. I will always be forever grateful for that opportunity.
That shift from actress to chef wasn't just a career move. It was a complete reinvention. Sicily found a way to turn her pain and uncertainty into something beautiful. She once said that the kitchen gave her peace, that after years of performing for cameras, cooking allowed her to express herself in a different way, without scripts, without directors, just her and her craft. Today, Sicily Sewell lives a quiet, content life, far away from the noise of Hollywood. Many people who grew up watching One-on-One still remember her as Spirit, the loyal, wise, and funny best friend everyone loved. But the woman she has become is much more than that teenage role. She is a mother, a chef, and a businesswoman who found peace in places fame could never offer.
I need to step away from Hollywood.
I mean, apart from feeling like I was never good at it.
After years of being known as a child star, Sicily built a new identity on her own terms. She continues to live in California, working in the culinary world that gave her a second chance.
If we're really being honest, I've never felt like I was good at it. I never, I think that you had to be certain things. You had to be the McDonald's commercial. You had to look, and I'm like, I don't really work as some of those things.
Pinky and Red's may have closed its doors, but the spirit of what she created lives on through her continued work in food and community spaces. She has spoken in interviews about how food became a way to connect, to heal, and to find meaning again after walking away from acting.
I knew what that was for me. I also knew what that meant for my family. I knew that like I come from a family.
Fans who search for her today often stumble across her later interviews, where she opens up with honesty and humility. She once said that she never really felt she was good at acting, and that honesty struck people. To hear someone who was once so successful in Hollywood admit that they didn't feel fulfilled showed a level of self-awareness that's rare. She also spoke about how the industry can be hard on young Black women, and how she felt boxed in by what people expected her to be. The firing from One-on-One had hurt, but looking back, she said she understood that it was part of her journey. Walking away wasn't about giving up. It was about choosing herself. Now, in her late 30s, Sicily keeps a low profile. She's not active in Hollywood circles or chasing new roles. Instead, she focuses on raising her daughters and maintaining the balance she fought so hard to find. She occasionally shares moments from her kitchen or snippets of her family life online, showing the same warmth and intelligence that made her character's spirit unforgettable.
Sicily, thank you for your first one-on-one with Hype Plus.
Ew.
And we look forward to seeing you a lot more. Keep us posted on whatever you have going on.
For many who grew up watching her, there's still a sense of nostalgia when her name comes up. Clips of One-on-One still circulate on social media, with fans reminiscing about the show's early seasons and how much chemistry she had with the rest of the cast. Even after 2 decades, her role as Spirit remains one of the highlights of early 2000s television. For many fans, she's the example of how to rebuild with dignity, grace, and purpose. Spirit Jones may have been the best friend everyone wished they had, but Sicily Sewell became the woman many aspire to be, grounded, fearless, and free. But Sicily Sewell isn't looking back with regret. She has built a new version of herself that's authentic and peaceful. She may no longer be on our screens, but her impact remains through the fans, who still remember her smile, her wit, and her effortless charm. The world once knew her as Spirit, but today she stands as Sicily Sewell, the woman who found herself after walking away from fame.